In this short video, I'm going to show how custom YANG can help simplify Junos configuration, and in this case for layer 2 VPN. I have two PE routers, PE1 on the left running 16.1R4 and PE2 on the right running 16.1R3. Now what I have configured already is BGP and LDP. So I can look at BGP summary. I can see that I have a BGP session established already for family layer 2 VPN, and I have LDP neighbors as well established. Now what I don't have yet is I don't have any layer 2 VPN connections established, as you can see here. Now wouldn't it be great if I can just go in and define some very simple configuration like this example here, where I just define a line, giving the line number, and I do the same thing on the other router as well. Let me just show that quickly. Which means I have the same line 900 configured on the left, terminating on interface GE001 and on VLAN ID 100, and on the right side I do the same thing, also on VLAN 100, but on a different interface. Now, in order for this to work, I need a global setting as well that I'm just going to enter now, which is sort of the same on both ends. It's basically an AS number that I'm going to use for all those pseudo wires that are configured on both ends. And because it's with Compeller VPN, you kind of have to define remote and local site ID, which are calculated here automatically. I have to define which is the starting point of the E-line service and which is the terminating point, which I do here by calling one side hub and the other side spoke. It could name them start, end, that's all the definition in the custom YANG model. So if I commit this on both routers, I can now check if I have layer 2 VPNs up, and I do. It's already done. So what did happen underneath? How is this actually possible? And that's really all possible by adding a YANG package called layer2vpn.yang. You can see that in the blog post, and a little translation script that gets executed every time a commit happens. Now I can show what happens actually by the translation script by executing this command, and based on those single line or the 2-3 lines I did using the custom YANG, it actually generates an interface stanza with all the required settings, VLAN CCC, VLAN ID and such, a routing instance, and it creates a protocol stanza for layer 2 VPN with the site ID, which I just name line ID, and in there you see the local site identifier and the remote site identifier. If I do the same thing on the remote end, configuration, display translation config, then you see it also configures the interface, obviously, and the routing instance looks very similar with one important distinguishment. The site identifier, the local one, is 1804 on PE2, while it is 1803 on the PE1, and the remote site ID changes accordingly. And this is triggered by the the definition of having a hub or spoke site. So let's look again at the config for layer 2 VPN on both ends. So show config layer 2 VPN. So here, that's really much simpler than this long output that I have shown earlier. Now, this is a first-class citizen config in Junos, so I can do the display set. I can also do display XML if I want to enter this through netconf. I can even do JSON if I want to use RESTful API. Thank you very much for watching.